Today's passage is taken from Psalm 29, the whole psalm. Now, the topic is worship God in holiness. Now, this psalm describes how God reveals himself in nature. See, for many of us, many people cannot read the Bible. Many people don't have the Bible. But nobody has an excuse to say, I don't know God. Because when you see such an amazing creation around you, the world, the sky, the sun, the stars, the sea, what can you say? There must be an amazing creator. Such an amazing creation must have an amazing creator. Such a big creation must be a big creator. So God reveals himself to all people. Nobody can say, I don't know God. You know God by looking at his creation. So today we are going to see how when we go to worship God, what is the attitude we must have when we worship God. So the topic is worship God in holiness. Now it begins in verse 1 by saying, ascribe to the Lord, O heavenly beings, probably the angels, ascribe to the Lord glory and strength. So it's saying, to the angels, telling the angels, hey, worship God in glory and strength. So angels are to worship God, realizing God is amazing, wonderful, powerful. Of course, angels can see God's glory more clearly than we can. They fly all over. They can go to the sun. They can go to the stars. They can see how huge God's creation is. We can't. We see our kampong. We see our kota. And maybe now on television we can see parts of the world, but we really don't see as much as the angels. So when the angels worship God in heaven, they're like, whoa, God is amazing. God is so powerful, right? And it says in verse 2, ascribe to the Lord the glory due to his name. Worship the Lord in the splendor and holiness. So now it points to us now. Telling angels first, worship God, amazing. What about you men who worship God? It says, we must worship God in the way that is correct. The glory due to his name. When you worship a great king, you have a certain way of worshiping a great king. You worship a small king in a smaller way to worship the king. The gifts you bring, the respect you bring is less. But when you talk about God, it is totally different. All right? So when we come to God, the key word is holiness. You say, what is holiness? Holiness means separated. What do you mean by separated? You see, when we worship men, we see, okay, small Raja, we worship this way. Bigger Raja, we worship this way. We bring more gifts, all right? More respect. Bigger Raja, we bring bigger gifts, bigger respect. So in other words, it is like stepping up. But when we worship God, it's totally different. Separate, because God is not like man. God is different from anything on earth. Different, totally different, right? Raja, bigger Raja is different, but a little different. And yet the same. But God, totally different. Okay? So we must worship God in that way, in holiness, realizing God's not like man. See, when you go to worship a man, you dress properly. As long as your dress is cukup nice, you brought a gift, okay lah. After all, the king can only see your dress. He cannot see your heart. He cannot see what's in your mind. He sees your gift. That's all he can see when you worship God. John chapter 4 verse 24 says, God is a spirit, and they that worship God must worship him in spirit and in truth. In other words, you just don't wear nice, but not enough. You wear nice, the Pendeta said, good. That's the way to dress when you go to church. Your friends will say, good. Respect God. But God is different. God not only sees your dress, he sees more than that. He sees what's in your heart. Bad thoughts. You go to church, maybe you don't like somebody, you're jealous somebody has more than you, you have bitterness against someone, you're angry when you went to church, you're selfish. God is a spirit. God don't see just, you pakai cantik-cantik, you sing nicely. Oh, good. God sees more. You must worship God in spirit, because God is a spirit. He wants you to have holy thoughts when you go there. Holy feelings. Not just holy look outside. All right? So you must worship God in holiness, not just outward. Nice. Holiness is different from nice. All right? So remember, when you worship God, God is a spirit. Worship God in spirit. He's more concerned about how is your heart. Are you thankful when you went to God? Are you thankful for the wonderful salvation he gave through Christ? Not how beautiful you sing, how thankful you are. In your thoughts, are you thinking, wow, how great God is, how good God is, how amazing God is? What's in your thoughts? Or just go to church, when you sing, glorifying God, but actually your thoughts are about other things. You see, worship God in holiness. God is a spirit. He sees all things, right? So I hope you have this right attitude when you worship God. It's not like worshiping anyone else, anything else. It's not respecting your church. I come from this big church. Wow, building is big. Building is big, but God is, million times bigger. My church building is nice, but God's creation is million times nicer. Is that in your thoughts when you go and worship God? Oh, wow, my church is so big. My Pendeta is so good. What about God? All right? So let's look at verse 3. The voice of the Lord is over the waters. The God of glory thunders, the Lord over many waters. The voice of God. What is the voice of God? God reminds us, when you hear the sound of thunder, whoa, it's very loud. Sometimes when I do a recording, I have soundproof room, but when there's thunder, no way to soundproof, right? The thunder will come into the soundproof room, and then you have to repeat the recording because you cannot keep out the thunder. That reminds us of how powerful God is. Look at verse. There are many things in this psalm which we harder to understand, but I explained the simple one. All of us have heard thunder in our lives, okay? So we can understand that. Look at verse 7, verse 5, sorry. The voice of the Lord breaks the cedars. The Lord breaks the cedars of Lebanon. Now, I had the chance to go to Lebanon last year. And wow, it is amazing to see the cedars of Lebanon. Giant trees. Now, there are not many left now. In the old days, when this psalm was written, there were many trees in Lebanon, but now much fewer. But when you go there, the trees are massive. The giant trees of Lebanon can be almost 15 meters high, taller than the tallest building in most kotas in Indonesia, the tallest hotel. All right? It's not tall as this. Okay? It's like 15 stories high, the tree. The circumference, you take a measure and go around the tree, it's like 10 meters. And it says here in verse 5, the voice of the Lord breaks the cedars. Wow. You know how hard to cut the cedar tree? It'll take a long time. The trunk is big. But God's voice will just smash it down. Okay, I hope you understand what this is trying to describe. In those days, the tallest thing was not a building, a hotel. It was the cedars of Lebanon. And people look at the cedars, wow, this is so big. But God said, I just speak, or fall down. All right, verse 7. The voice of the Lord flashes forth flames of fire. This speaks, I think, of lightning. Do you know how powerful lightning is? If you see lightning, it's like, whoa. Every day on Earth, this planet, there are 100 lightnings every second. Every second. One day, 100 lightnings happening somewhere in the world. And one lightning has about the power of 1 million volts. A lampu is only like 6 volts. One lightning, just one, 1 million volts. And every second, every day, take 100 lightnings, just to remind you, who this God is. Sometimes we forget, right? And we see a lightning, whoa, you better be careful. When a lightning strikes you, you will become nothing, all right? Ashes. So when we see all these glorious things, to remind us the wonderful God that we have. When we worship in church, we're worshiping God, this glorious God. Not just going, it's so common by routine, by habit. We go to church, we just dress, we go there, we sing a few songs, we go home. Our mind is never, whoa! Our heart is never, whoa! No. Every time we go to church, your head is, wow, amazing God. Look at the cross. Amazing salvation. All right. And when you sing a song, it's not how loud you sing, it's how your heart says, wow, I'm singing to God, the creator of the universe, the one who gave his son for me. The love so great, the power so great, right? And now verse 11 is the beautiful part. Verse 11 says, may the Lord give strength to his people. May the Lord bless his people with peace. All along it's like thunder, lightning, smash the cedar trees. And then he says, may God bless you with peace. Only the power of God's salvation can give us peace in a world full of problems. The world is full of problems. How to have peace? COVID, my kawan mati, my kawan's mother mati, my auntie is sick, my job can be lost. My children have no school to go to, everything is by internet, everything is chaotic. But may God give you peace. In this world, how to have peace? Only through the power of God's cross. That this world is only temporary. You will only live 70, 80, 90, 100, 110 years. After that, it's over. But there's eternity. For all those who have trusted Jesus, there is a life so wonderful, prepared by this wonderful God for you and me who have trusted Jesus as our Savior. So when the world is in problems, we say, it's only temporary. 50 years. COVID, 50 years, it'll be over. But eternity, million years, is mine forever. Because God said, whosoever believed in Jesus shall not perish but have everlasting life. Only this God of this cross who created the world can give you this kind of peace. Look at verse 11 again. May the God who made heaven grant you peace. God bless you.